Welcome back, everyone. I am the Depressed Dior, and this is Arkham Horror, the card game. We're doing Dark Matter custom campaign with Diana Stanley and Jenny Barnes. All right, let's dive into this. The Tatterdemalion. You awaken entombed in ice. Your skin, your organs, even your bones are cold. You can't move, and it's hard to form coherent thoughts. A tingle of warmth slowly spreads through your veins. When your eyelids finally thaw, all you see is a large pane of frosted glass. What is going on? Where are you? One moment you were in the ward theater watching the tedious theater performance, and the next in a cryosleep chamber. Cryosleep? Despite having never heard the word before, you instinctively know what this procedure must be. Your mind may not recollect, but your body has been through the cycle of freezing and thawing many times. The thought of being familiar with something so foreign to you disturbs you to the core. When the warmth eventually reaches your fingers, the glass window slides open and releases you into a dark metallic room. The control panel next to the tomb delivers its computerized announcement. Welcome back aboard the Tatterdemalion. The current star date is April 4th, 2147. You look out the nearest window, only to witness a black canvas of infinite stars in a colossal cerulean sphere. The planet Neptune. The thought of drifting through the infinite expanse of space does not frighten you, for you have lived your entire life in space, not in your past life in Arkham, but in the person you embody now. As you begin wondering how much stranger this dream of yours can become, a loud, blaring alarm echoes throughout the vacant ship. All right. Okie dokie. All right, so we're going to be starting in cryosleep quarters, and we'll need to do some other stuff. All right, cryosleep quarters, Tatterdemalion. Human interstellar space travel was only possible due to the invention of cryo chambers, capable of suspending the body's autonomic functions while maintaining the health of each individual cell during stasis. All right, 3 agendas. Emergency procedure. As you try to make sense of the situation, an alarm blares through the chambers and interrupts your thoughts. Alert. Engine stability at 7%. System power critical. Requires immediate attention. You cannot resign. Beware if this agenda advances, the ship will explode and everyone will die. 7 doomed to advance. There are 3 acts. Event horizon. Your body aches and cramps from the extended cryosleep. How long have you been trapped in your frozen tomb? Where is the rest of the crew? These questions will need to wait, for you must first find a way to get this ship back online before the reactor engines overheat. Investigators in the engine room may spend the requisite number of clues as a group to repair the power malfunction in advance. 4 clues to advance. Skulls are minus X, where X is the number of AI encounter cards in your threat area. Right now, 0. Cultist is -2. If you fail, place one of your clues onto your current location. And then there's the scanning deck. All right, let me put a break here and be right back. Okay, I did have to restart, unfortunately. I did make a mistake with one of the encounter cards that were in my threat area. I completely forgot I had it, and did kind of make a difference. Besides that, though, things were mostly okay. I've heard that Dark Matter is generally a little bit easier, which I kind of appreciate. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the shuffles again and go from there. And I think I have a grasp on the scan mechanic, which is good. I did hit easy difficulty, so yeah, back to this. All right, shuffle and draw. All right, Twilight Blade is an interesting start. Don't want Delay in the Inevitable. Don't really want the backpack because it just sucks at level 0. Twilight Blade is interesting, but I don't exactly want to start with it. So we'll do that. And honestly, we can drop the Deny Existence as well. We'll just go with this. Okay, not a bad start. We can work with that. Alright, over here. I think I have to turn on hands, do I? Nope, I'm good. Alright, deal to orange. Alright, definitely a slightly better start, it feels like. We don't really need any of these for now. Okay, that is good. Yeah, that is something I can work with. Okay. Yeah, that's really good. All right. Yeah, I didn't get Dr. Milan until much later on my other one. I did get the sacrificial beast or whatever pretty early in this one. But that's okay. Alright, cryo sleep quarters. 2 shroud, 2 clues. Action, resign, return to your cryo chamber and hope you wake from this nightmare. The room looks like a funeral parlor with 6 human-sized boxes lined up along the walls. Cold lights shine down from the ceiling, illuminating every corner. As mentioned, we can't resign, though it would be funny just to roll over and go back to sleep and then explode, but that is not how it's going to work. Alright, we're going to start with Jenny. I'm going to go ahead and spend 4 to get out Dr. Milan. And then I'm going to investigate with Dr. Milan. We'll go 4 to 2. That's -2. I do pass. I get a clue, and more importantly, I get a resource. I will fast out a magnifying glass, and then I'm going to get out a lone wolf. So we got that up and running. Diana is going to spend 4 to get out a beat cup. Then I'm going to go ahead and move up 1 to the mess hall. The mess hall is the center of the ship, both physically and spiritually. Without social bonding, the isolation of space would take its toll on anyone. 1 shroud, 4 clues. Reaction: when you gain any amount of resources during your turn at the mess hall, gain 1 additional resource, limit once per round. No signs of human activity. There's enough food to feed the entire waking crew for months, even years. Off to the right, we got the ship's bridge. Investigators cannot enter the ship bridge from the mess hall. Your access is restricted. You will need to find another way inside. Infirmary, a common ship infirmary by colonial standards, is well stocked with medical supplies of all kinds. Cargo hold, the pressure door leading to the back of the ship needs to be rewired. As an additional cost to enter the cargo hold, investigators in the mess hall must spend 2 clues as a group. All right. I still have 1 action remaining. I'm going to investigate. I'll go 3 to 1 here. I succeed. I don't have anything in the basement, so get 1 clue. All right, enemy phase, nothing. Upkeep. And upkeep. All right, 2 easy marks. Fantastic. I'm definitely going to take advantage of that mess hall first, though. All right, shuffling this one more time because I don't remember if I did. +1 doom. Alright, cabin pressure, hidden peril. Secretly add this card to your hand. At the end of your turn, if there are 1 or more clues to your location, take 2 damage and discard cabin pressure. Double action, discard cabin pressure. Okay. I'm okay with this. Yeah, I'm okay with this. Alright, and then over here. Haunting Pass. Test Willpower X, where X is your memories. If you fail, search the encounter deck for the topmost hidden card and draw it. Shuffle the encounter deck. Well, we're 3 to 0 because we have no memories. And I failed anyway. Whatever. Alright, search top encounter deck for the topmost hidden card. Hey, it's this one. And it's actually kind of good that she's the one that gets it. Alright. Reminiscence, secrets. Add it to your hand. As a reaction, when an investigator would discover any amount of clues from your location, place 1 of their clues on that location instead of discovering clues. Discard this card. When the game ends, or if you are eliminated, if this card is in your hand, add it to the victory display. Got it. Investigation phase. Starting with Jenny Barnes, Lone Wolf, get 1 resource. Investigate. We are 5 to 2 here. We succeed. I'm going to go ahead and place a clue down to discard Reminiscence. I did successfully investigate, so I do get 1 resource. And then I'm going to investigate again. I succeed, and I'll investigate 1 more time. This is the most Elder Signs I've ever seen. Alright, so we get both the clues here, and we get 2 more resources on top of that. Putting us at that. Okay, Diana. I'm kind of okay with just getting hit with cabin pressure, but we'll see. We can go ahead and investigate just 3 times. Good. 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 Alright, got all the clues. Alright, enemy phase upkeep. Bum Rush. Mythos. Second Doom. High radiation levels. Test agility or combat 3. If you fail, deal 1 direct damage to your investigator and to each ally you control. If you control radiation tablets, you automatically succeed at this test. The biggest source of ionizing radiation is from solar particle events, the repercussions of having a sun. Okie dokie. Oh, also, I do take 2 damage because of cabin pressure, and so this will get discarded. I am going to go ahead and spend 1 and do Ward of Protection. Put a horror on you. And then I will gain a resource back and draw a card. And just negate that. Alright, and then for you. Coolant Link. Test Agility 4. For each point you fail by either choose and discard a card from your hand or take 1 damage. If you control the EVA suit story asset, you automatically succeed. Without coolant, heat generating structures and a vacuum would get really hot really fast. Alright, we are currently 3 to 4. Oh well, 3 to 4. I have to place a clue down. And I have to choose to take damage or discard cards. Alright. In that case, we'll take 3 damage. Alright, investigation phase. Alright, Lone Wolf again, gain a resource. I'll investigate 5 to 2 again. I succeed, I get a clue, and I get a resource. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and spend 1 to do a scout ahead. Lets me move 3 times. 1. Spend 2 clues to get through that. After you enter the location, test willpower 2. If you fail, take 1 horror. As you step through the door, you see dozens of corpses, mutilated and mangled. Scrawled on the floor in blood and gore are the words "No hope." Alright, so I'll go 3 to 2. We pass. I can keep moving because I can move 3 spaces. Not sure if there's any moon cards in there. I'm pretty sure there are not. Yeah, I don't think there's any I need to worry about. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and just stop here, and I'm going to go ahead and do easy mark, gain 2 resources, draw a card, and then easy mark, gain 2 resources, draw a card. Okay, or at least somewhat stable now. Diana. I'm going to go ahead and move to here. I'll do the willpower check, 2 to 2. Yep, 2 to 2. I'll do a defiance and pick cultist. Pass. Then I'm going to move down to here, to the engine room. Although nuclear ion engines allow for relatively safe intrasolar travel and can power all nominal functions of a Kepler-class starship, this type of generator is prone to overheating. 4 shroud, 2 clues. At the end of your turn, if you are at the engine room and do not control radiation tablets, take 1 damage. The huge room hums. The vibrations under your feet are so thick they reach straight through the soles of your shoes. Everything looks and feels too hot. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and spend 4 clues to advance. Systems online. As the nuclear ion engines begin their reboot sequence, the emergency lights shut off and leave you in darkness. Anything else I need to worry about this? Just have to be in the engine room. Okay. You see glimpses of an image of a memory. A great golden palace stands before you, older than time itself, a throne befit for a queen, reigning over the infinite void of a sunless space. When the main fluorescent lights return, an ear-piercing scream resonates out of the intercom systems. It is the sound of several children's roboticized voices crying out in unison. Intruders detected. Go away. Please leave us alone. Shuffle the set-aside artificial intelligence encounter set into the encounter deck along with the encounter discard pile. And then we advance to Agenda 2 and Act 2A. Do not remove Doom from play and transfer all Doom from Agenda 1 to Agenda 2. Alright, should be just all of this. The Ghost Ship. The computerized voices sob and sing snippets of nursery rhymes. The ship's lights flicker along, and the automated hatches snap open and closed. The Tatterdemalion has a mind of its own. Action: if there are no clues on your current location, scan. Search for the topmost card in the scanning deck with an icon matching your current location and draw it. Shuffle the scanning deck. 7 Doom to advance. Artificial Insanity. Restoring power to the Tatterdemalion systems activated a new problem. The ship's malfunctioning AI is now operational and trying to terminate you. You must find a way to fix it or shut it down before it expels you from its ship. Figure out a way to repair or disable the insane cybernetic AI. You'll be instructed when to advance. Alright, so we do need to get clues off these things to actually make stuff happen. So yeah, we'll be dealing with that. Okie dokie. As my last action, I am going to go ahead and just spend 3 to get out an enchanted blade. And then I'll take 1 damage from ending my turn in the engine room. Upkeep. Upkeep. Mythos, 3rd Doom. Hallucinatory holograms, hidden perils, added to your hand. At the end of the turn, if there is at least 1 AI encounter card in your threat area, take 2 horror and discard it. Double action, discard it. Cool. Test willpower 3 for each point you fail by either discard a non-story asset you control or take 1 horror. I'm 3-3 right now. I pass. I'll take it. Okie dokie. Let's start with Jenny. Gain a resource for starting out alone. We will move down to here. And I'm going to spend 4 to pilfer. I have to investigate with my agility, so I'm 3-4 right now. 5-4, 6-4. 7-4. Actually, we don't need to go that high. This will actually be high enough. In fact, we can do I've had worse, and then this. Now put me. That would be what? That'll be 6-4. All right, let's do this. 6-4. Please work. Okay, we do pass because there are no AI things. I get 3 clues, which will only be 2. All right, so that gets all the clues off of this, which is good. I'm going to go ahead and move back because I can't really stay here without getting myself hurt really bad. So we'll move back up. I will do the willpower check, 3-2. We pass. And, oh, also I succeeded on an investigate, even though it was a pilfer, so I get a resource back. All right, and I'll move back up. All right. Diana, she is going to scan while she's here. So I have to get something that matches that top left icon. No, 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 yes. Mind Machine Interface. You may put this card into play under the control of any investigator. Action: spend 4 clues as a group. Scan for the topmost card in the scanning deck with the icon below it and draw it. Shuffle the scanning deck. Okay. Let's put this with I'll put it with Diana. Okay. Now the question is there anything else in this room? No idea. One way to find out. Let's scan again. There is a moon icon. There is. It's that one. Cool. Yeah, I thought there was 2 in this plot. Yeah, having some prior knowledge definitely helps a lot in this one. What type of ship is this? Near the stern of the vessel is a large structure of human bones and skulls. At the top of the creation is a wax sculpture of a female figure in a yellow dress. The sculpture itself must be at least 100 years old. It all seems so surreal and sad. In front of the strange altar lies a scroll which holds the first draft of a new prayer being written to a Tasilda, Royal Princess of Carcosa. You are certain you have heard this name before, but you can't recall when. Each investigator at your location gets 1 tally mark for memory. It's just going to be Diana. And then we can either remove this card from the game or take a Doom and put this in the victory display. We will take the Doom. All right, and then for my last action, I'm just going to move on up, back to here. I do need to do a willpower check, 2 to 2. There are no AI cards, so I do actually pass. Okay, not too bad. We got everything out of the engine room, which is good. And now we don't need to ever worry about it again. Upkeep. All right, upkeep. Awesome. Mythos, 5th Doom. We'll advance soon. Decompression, attached to the nearest access location, will be here. I'm kind of okay with that. And we got holograms. Okay. So far, we don't need to worry about this because there's no AI cards in my threat area. All right. Investigation phase. All right. So I believe both cargo hold and the other thing is fine. I'm going to start with Diana. Yeah, I'm going to start with Diana. I'm going to go ahead and investigate. We'll go 3 to 2. I will commit a take the initiative, go 6 to 2. Good to go. We get the clue. I'm going to go ahead and scan this location. I need a red square. All right, we got the EVA suit. You may put EVA suit into play under the control of any investigator. Double action. If you are in an access location, move to another access location, then scan. Search for the topmost card in the scanning deck with the icon below and draw it. Shuffle the encounter deck. Okay, so got this going. We're going to go ahead and I can't really do much right now because I need 2 actions to use this thing. But with the EVA suit, the decompression is not going to do anything to me, so that's the good news. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and draw a card. Okay, emergency cash. All right, Jenny is not going to get anything from Lone Wolf this time around, which is okay. Let's go ahead and let's spend 2 actions moving. And want to go to the infirmary. We'll eventually need to do stuff with the escape pods, but we're not going to worry about that right now. 3 shroud, 2 clues. Action scan for look for medical supplies. Search for the topmost card in the scanning deck with the icon below and draw it. Shuffle the scanning deck. So we can look for hearts here if we need to. All right, last action. I'm just going to investigate. This will be 5 to 3. I pass by 2, which is unfortunately not enough for Honed Instinct, but I do get a resource and a clue. Okay, so we do have the means to scan with the mind-machine interface now, which is great. But we'll deal with that later. Enemy phase, no enemies. Upkeep. Upkeep. Fantastic. Oh, that's actually really good. We can do some things with that. All right. And then at the end of the round, this will trigger EVA. The EVA suit will prevent any damage from happening with that. And then we'll go to 6th Doom. Artificial gravity malfunction. While you're at the attached location, each move, action, and activate ability costs 1 additional action. At the end of the round, if you are at attached location, you can discard it. Yeah, this thing just delays you quite a bit. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and spin 2 and just reshuffle that back in. So I don't have to worry about it. All right, I'll go ahead and gain a resource and draw a card. And then I have 3 willpower now. And then over here, predictive algorithm. Put it into play in your threat area. You get -1 to each of your skills while fighting or evading AI enemies. Choose and discard 2 cards from your hand. Discard predictive algorithm. So I do need to do something about this. I'm going to go ahead and you handle this one and pass it off to you. All right. Investigation phase. Let's start with Diana. So first things first, we need to get, we're going to do the EVA suit. We're in an access location. We're going to go ahead and double action do this thing here. And then it's going to move us to another access location. I'm going to pick the ship's bridge. And then I get to do a scan for the star icon, which will be this one. Strange is the night. Donning the EVA suit, you leave the pressurized atmosphere of the ship to climb across the outside of the vessel. The Tatterdemalion appears much larger from the outside. You barely see the access point on the other side. It will take some time to traverse the ship. As you glide forwards, a glint from above catches your eye. A yellow and green flare undulates in the canvas of space. It dances in the sky and entwines into a singular design, a rings of concentric semicircles lined with strange runes. And the center is a pair of wavy lines. You have seen this symbol before during the presentation of The King in Yellow. However, this wasn't the one in the Ward Theater, but an amateur performance in the cramped and industrial interior of the Tatterdemalion. After the strange lights fade away, you realize you completely let go of your tethers and were beginning to drift away. With a small thrust of your suit's reaction control system, you grab hold of the ship once more and hastily climb your way to the next airlock with a much firmer grip. Add 2 tally marks to your memories. Add this to the victory display. All the memories. All right, and then we go here. 3 shroud, 2 clues. After you perform a scan at this location, if there are no clues on it, add 2 clues on it from the token bank. There is a whole bank of instruments and controls. It will take some time to decipher how to read them. All right. One thing to note about the mind-machine interface here is you don't actually have to be on a location with no clues on it. That's only if you want to do the action on the agenda. Speaking of, I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to spend 4 clues. It's 4 clues as a group, and it doesn't have to be. You don't have to be in the same location. So do that. We'll scan for that symbol, which will be this one. K2 PS187 Cybernetic Brains. You finally uncovered the direct access point to interface with the Tatterdemalion's main computer, K2 PS187. However, you quickly realize that disabling or rewiring it will not be as simple as you anticipated. K2 PS187 is not a true computer at all and is actually a cybernetic organism. Deep within the mechanics of the ship's bridge is the computer core, and within it are the disembodied brains of 6 young children. These brains are linked together to form a very powerful supercomputer. The situation sickens you to the core. Who would do such a thing? Damning these minds to an eternity of calculating ship trajectories and processing algorithms. You feel guilty knowing that you must have been part of this heinous crew. Each investigator adds 1 tally mark to the memories regardless of location. Advance to Act 2B, and this will get put in the victory display. The Realm of Dreams. It would be impossible to physically bypass or rewire K2 PS187. However, there is another way to repair the computer. If you can reprogram the Cryosleep's Chambers dream protocols to interface with K2 PS187, you will essentially create a pocket reality in which you can virtually interact with K2 PS187 with its dreams. From there, you'll be able to bring the poor minds back to their senses. However, without proper psychological conditioning, entering the virtual reality may be damaging to your identity, leaving you in a state of decoherence. Although some of your procedural memories have returned, your self-identity is still out of tune. You may want to explore the ship and remember who you used to be. Put the set-aside virtual access key story asset into play under any investigator control. The investigator can choose to add it to their deck. This does not count towards their investigator's deck limit. So this is the key. I'm going to go ahead and give this to Diana. It is a accessory, so I believe I have that open for Diana. When you would take horror, exhaust virtual access key, cancel one of that horror. Inside, wrapped in a discolored parchment, was a huge key of tarnished silver covered with cryptical arabescus. I don't know how to pronounce that. But of any legible explanation, there was none. This also going to be committed for like 2 wilds and a willpower. And this is the key to the Gate of Dreams. All right, that's all done. Over here, reconnected. You must find a way to reprogram the cryosleep chambers to access K2 PS187's virtual dreamscape and calm it down. After an investigator at the cryosleep quarters performs a scan matching the icon below, regardless of whether it's successful or not, you may advance. Beware, remember to collect as many memories as you can. All right, so yeah, it's important that we have the mind-machine interface here, but there are a few other ways you can do it if you somehow lose it. Anyway, that was it for Diana. At the end of her turn, I will go ahead and reveal this, and I'm going to use Deny Existence to cancel the horror. Actually, I will use Virtual Access Key and just take 1 horror. And no, I'm not going to put this in the basement. I don't even know if you can. It doesn't have the limits. In any case, this goes away. Boop. All right. All right, and then we go to Jenny. All right. I will gain a resource because of Lone Wolf. Also, I could do a Honed Instinct. So, you know what? I'm also going to do a Honed Instinct when the act advanced. And I'll use that to move 1 space. And then, since I did Lone Wolf at this location at the start of her turn, I can actually do this effect to get an additional resource. There you go. Look at that. Efficient. I'm going to go ahead and move over to here. I'm going to go ahead and spend 4 resources to do Intel Report. Actually, could I do it that way? Yeah, I'm okay with doing that this way. So yeah, I'll do Intel Report for 4 resources to get both clues here. And then my last action, I'm going to scan this location. This is a Tetris piece, like this one. Final destination. You search the Tatterdemalion console and discover its itinerary. Over a year ago, the ship departed in search of a trans-Saturnian asteroid of extrasolar origin, codenamed Fragment. The crew eventually found the mysterious object and sent several survey and excavation teams for unknown purposes. The mission proceeded smoothly until the Tatterdemalion suddenly lost contact with one of its survey teams deep within the subterranean caverns of Fragment. Despite the disappearance, the mission was apparently deemed a success, and the ship was set to return home. You vaguely recall stepping out of a shuttle and onto the rocky surface of a golden asteroid. The stars glittered bright and red. You must have been one of the Tatterdemalion survey teams. Each investigator at your location will get 1 tally mark. And then I can gain 3 resources. And this will go in the victory display. All right, and then since I successfully scanned, we do add 2 more clues to this. Like so. All right, that is everyone on that front. Okay. Enemy phase, no enemies to worry about yet. Upkeep. Bum rush. All right, Mythos, we do advance. UPL A21 Dem, unmanned power loader, AI machine elite cargo hold. Spawns at the cargo hold, has 5 combat, 2 evade, and 6 health, has Hunter. While moving or engaging, it ignores investigators without an AI encounter card in their threat area. Target acquired. Victory 1, hits for 3 damage. So it spawns here. I do have 1 AI card, which will go to Diana, which is completely fine. All right, and then Rise of the Machines. The ship's AI is reaching out to every machine to manipulate, to control. Hopelessly lost in its own insanity, it will stop at nothing to exterminate the intruders that are invading its home. Action: if there are no clues on your current location, scan, search for the top. Yeah, same stuff as before. 9 doomed to advance. All right. Electric Surge. Test Agility 2. This test gains +2 difficulty for each AI encounter card in your threat area. If you fail, each investigator at your location takes 1 damage, and it gets Surge. Arcs of electricity erupt from the nearest machinery towards you. You don't say. Fortunately, I don't really have anything I can do to help with this. The difficulty is 3, because I have 1 in my threat area. So, I mean, the damage is not that big of a deal, but I don't want to shock Jenny is the problem. I'll commit an automatic, and we'll see what happens. 4 to 3. Fortunately, that's a fail because there are 2 AI cards out, so I will take a damage, and so will you. All right, well, you're almost dead already. As for you, coolant leak. For each point you fail by. Okay, so it's this thing again, and I don't have the EVA story suit, so good times had by Arl. This is going to kill me. I passed. My god, I actually passed. Alright. Generally without coolants, heat generating structures in a vacuum would get really hot really fast. Okay. Investigation phase. I will start with Jenny. I'm not going to get a resource because from Lone Wolf, unfortunately. I'm going to investigate. We'll go 5 to 3. I succeed. I get a resource and a clue. Let's do it again. Pass. Get a resource and a clue. And then I'll scan again. JV7 Hiedes, Artificial Copilot, Aloof Alert. AI Machine, Action Parlay, test willpower 3. If you fail, it attacks you. If you succeed, choose one of the icons below, scan, search for the topmost card in the scanning deck with the chosen icon and draw it, and shuffle the scanning deck. Hits for 1 and 1, 2 combat, 2 evade, 3 health. Alright. Cool. Alright, I successfully scanned, so clues get placed on this again, and then her turn will end. Alright. In the meantime, I will go with Diana next. I will go ahead and do a mind machine interface here. Spend 4 clues. And see what we can find. Cybervirus. Peril hidden. Secretly add this card to your hand. After you discover the last clue from your location, spawn on cybervirus engaged with you. Highly virulent. Techno-organic viruses are often used by computers as natural defense mechanisms against virtual invaders. Hits for 2, horror, and victory 1. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and move to here. And I am going to go ahead and I will gain a resource, and I will go ahead and use Mess Hall to get another resource. Actually, we'll go ahead and do Emergency Cache, why not? So I'll get us 3 resources, and then another 1 because of the Mess Hall. Alright, enemy phase. This guy's going to come and engage us and punch us for 3 damage. I am going to go ahead and spend 1 to dodge. Gain a resource and draw a card. Alright. And then we go to nothing else because this thing's just aloof. Upkeep. Alright. Upkeep. Alright. Mythos. First Doom. Another Electric Surge. It's going to be a 3 to 4 test. I fail, I'll take a damage. When an investigator would defeat an enemy at your location, heal all damage from it instead, and then discard the card. If we keep it in our hand, it'll be put in the victory display. Alright, the more you know. Okay, investigation phase. Diana, I think you got some work to do. So this thing is an AI, so I do have -1 to this because of predictive algorithm. So let's see what we can make happen. I'm going to go ahead and spend 1 to fast out a Spectral Shield. And then I'm just going to go to town on this thing. So I'm going to swing at it. We'll use Enchanted Blade. So I'm -1, so that's 3, 4, 5. So I'm 5 to 5. 7 to 5. 8 to 5. I pass. It's going to do 3 damage. And I draw a card. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and take a swing at it again with Enchanted Blade. Actually, don't do that yet. What are my options? I mean, even with the -1, it's still pretty rough. So with this, I'll be 5 to 5, 7 to 5. If it weren't for the skulls. Okay, we can still go for it. We'll go for gold here. All right, spend a charge. I'm going to commit a delay the inevitable. This will put us at 6. Sorry, it'll be 3, 5, 7, 8. We'll be 8 to 5. I succeed, and I can put something from my basement back into my hand. We'll pick this Dark Insight. And I'll do 2 damage, and then I'm going to discard Beat Cop to do another damage and kill it. And I get to draw a card because I succeeded on that skill check. Alright. And then for my last action, I'm going to go ahead and spend 4 to get out a 45 automatic. Okay. There's an easy way to kill that thing, by the way, using the escape pod bay, but we're kind of out of position for that stuff. Alright, so I think we've gotten all the stuff for the Tetris piece. So all that's really left is figuring out any other nonsense. We can do a scan of the cryosleep quarters. I don't even know what's there. At the start of Jenny's turn, I'll get a resource because of Lone Wolf. I will spend an action to do a Streetwise. And then I will spend 2 actions to get to the cryosleep quarters. Alright. Enemy's not going to do anything. Yeah, because I don't care about the scan. We have someone to scan with. Or, I mean, the good news about scanning with this thing is you don't have to spend clues for it. So that's the main benefit. But I think we've gotten most of this stuff from here now. So I don't know. Upkeep. Okay, backstab, Mythos, second doom. AI spider machine, nearest location with no clues. Perfect, that's this location. And after it enters play, place one clue on its location from the token bank. Alright. 3 combat, 2 evade, 2 health. The ATL-4 model spider bots can sneak into the crevices of machines to repair malfunctions from within. Hits for 1 damage. And secretly add. Okay. If there's 1 or more clues, take 2. Ooh, I gotta get rid of that. Alright, investigation phase. I'm gonna go ahead and start with Jenny. I'm gonna get 1 resource because of Lone Wolf. And I'm gonna spend 2 actions to get rid of cabin pressure. And I'm actually gonna go ahead and move up to here. And then Diana is going to fight this thing. I'm at 3 to 3. This will go 5 to 3. Yep, this will go 5 to 3, and we'll see if it's enough. We pass. It's going to do 2 damage. I'm going to go ahead and discard this thing and cancel all the damage, or heal all the damage instead, and discard this card. So it stays in play. I also get, since I succeeded, I do get to grab one of the, I did have an Elder Sign for this, so I'll go ahead and grab a ward. Oh, actually, sorry, my stats are lower. I forgot since I burned that beat cop. Alright, I'll go ahead and fight again. We'll be 3 to 3 because of predictive algorithm. We can go 4 to 3 here. And yeah, we'll just go 4 to 3 and hope. It's enough. Kills it. Alright, last action, I am going to go ahead and discard this backpack and living ink to get rid of this predictive algorithm. And that'll get me ready for the future. Alright, enemy phase, nothing going on there. Upkeep. Another spectral shield. Mythos. Third doom. All-Seeing Eye. So this goes in our threat area as an additional cost to perform a scan. You have to discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until an AI encounter card is discarded and draw it. Over here, we get another All-Seeing Eye. I'm going to go ahead and you handle this one. Gain a resource for it. Alright. Also, since oh, it's not during my turn, so it doesn't matter. Yep, got that to deal with now. Yep, that's fine. We can live with that. All right, investigation phase. So I have to be the one that finds it, right? After you discover the last clue. Yep. We'll go 3 to 1. We pass. We get the last clue here and spawn this guy. I will then fight said guy. We'll go 4 to 2 with the automatic. That is just enough. And then we'll do 4 to 2 again. And that is dead. Cybervirus is dead. Then I get to do All-Seeing Eye twice, so 3 to 3. Failed, 3 to 3. Passed. Okay. Jenny doesn't get Lone Wolf. Let's go ahead and move her down to here. And we're going to go ahead and scan this location. Who am I? Now that the ship's power has been restored and the imminent threat eliminated, you can re-examine the protocols of the cryo chamber in which you were hibernating. The database mentions names and dates you have never heard of before, but you instinctively know refer to you in your true history. but that you instinctively know refer to you in your true history. According to the control panel, you were a citizen of the United Colonial Coalition. You were born in 2127 in a city named New Brooklyn. Further details suggest that the ship's AI has been implanting and running a simulation with the bodies of several of the sleeping crew. You probe for more information, but the main network catches on and shuts down the display before you can continue. Each investigator location gets a memory. Up to 3 now. You may search the top 6 cards of your deck for a card and draw it. I will happily take this Green Man Medallion. I will spend 1 to get out Green Man Medallion, and then I will go ahead and spend 3 resources, which I'm just going to set aside here and gradually accumulate. Alright. Oh boy, let's go. That is everybody on that. I don't think there's anything much left in this thing. I think there's some things in the plus sign and circle, maybe? But yeah, I think we got most of the stuff at this point. Enemy phase, upkeep. We will need to get clues. That is something we do need to do. Intel report. Okay, we can work. Okay, that's perfect. Intel report will solve all of our issues. Mythos, 4th Doom. And artificial gravity malfunction. I'm going to spend 1 and ward protection that. Gain a resource. Draw a card. And discard that. And get that. System bug. Location with no clues, which is unfortunately here. And it'll be engaged with you. Alright, investigation phase. Alright, I'm going to start with Jenny. Lone Wolf is going to trigger, and I'll gain a resource. I will go ahead and do Green Man Medallion, spend 3 resources. Every 6 of these will get me essentially an experience point. I definitely need to kill this thing now, so I'm going to go ahead and spend 3 to do Backstab. I'm right now 3 to 2. I will spend 2 to get another +2 agility, so that's 5 to 2. And that should be good enough. 5 to 2. It is dead. Okay. Next, I want to go ahead and spend 6 resources on Intel Report. This will allow me to get 2 clues, and from up to 2 locations away. So I'll grab the 2 clues from the ship's bridge. Like so. And then my last action, I'm going to go ahead and investigate this location, will be 5 to 2. I succeed, I will get a clue and a resource. Okay, we got all that working for us. Diana, spend 4 to get out a beat cup. And then we're going to go ahead and move... that all-seeing eye is going to be a problem. There's not anything I can do about it either. I'll spend 2 resources to go ahead and get out my survival knife. And then I will go ahead and scan, which means I have to discard cards from the top until an AI is discarded. Alright, so this location is just a circle. So it'll be that one. Humanoid AI machine, aloof, retaliate. After you defeat this enemy, scan, search the topmost card of the scanning deck with the icon below and draw it, shuffling and scanning deck. 3 combat, 4 evade, 4 health, victory 1. Hits for 1 and 1. Okay. That is it on that front. I'll do a check for this, 3 to 3. Sure, 3 to 3. I fail. Enemy phase, upkeep. Mythos. 5th Doom. This is the one where you have to successfully evade an enemy, and it'll make it attack you instead. Alright. That's going to be difficult to do. because I don't really have very good ways to evade. I can do it on this guy. I might have to just do it on that guy. All right, and then for you, coolant leak again. That needs to stop. Like seriously, that needs to stop. Well, I do have resources. I will spend 2, so that puts me at 7 to 4, and we pass. All right, as a lightning bolt, I will go ahead and spend 3 to do this. All right. Diana, let's go ahead and do so how tough is this thing? Reasonably tough. Yeah, I'll go ahead and spend an action to do predictive algorithm. I'm going to discard Delay the Inevitable and a Spectral Shield. And then I'm going to engage this guy. And then I'm going to shoot this guy. We should be at 5 to 3. Does 2 damage. Okay. Jenny, Lone Wolf will trigger, gain 1 resource. I'm going to go ahead and fast out a leather jacket. I'm going to go ahead and spend 2 actions moving. Up to here, I'm going to go ahead and investigate the infirmary. 5 to 3. I succeed, gain a resource, and a clue. Okay. Enemy phase, I'm going to get hit for 1 and 1. Spectral Shield's going to soak 1 of it, and then I'm going to put it in the basement. And then I'll take 1 damage, which I'll put on the Beat Cop, and then I'll do Survival Knife. This will be 6 to 3. I succeed, it dies. I could then immediately scan, which unfortunately is also going to make me discard cards until I get an AI like this one. And then I go through the deck. I do actually have 1 more of these. And then there's 1 more of these in the circle area. Cool. Good to know. Into the archives. Within the digital environment of the ship, you come across a vault containing petabytes of encrypted data. It appears that the Tatterdemalion's archives contain the brain scans of in histories of hundreds of people from the 20th and 21st century. Curious, you search for your own name and are surprised to find files corresponding to your past life. According to these records, you were institutionalized after attempting to sabotage a theater play. You lived the rest of your life in isolation, warning to all of Carcosa and of the one named Hasker. After your death, your brain was preserved by the institution and eventually scanned for scientific research. Despite feeling sorrow for your past life, you can finally let go of that reality, even though it's not exactly the world you expected. You've been given a second chance at life and aim to not repeat the same mistakes. Each investigator her location gets a memory. She can heal 2 horror, which will heal 1, and then this goes in the victory display. Okay, then at the end of return, 3 to 3 test. Failed. Failed, and I have to place a clue down. Okay. Nothing going on with the upkeep. Oh, actually, sorry. Sorry, I was supposed to do that. I think I was supposed to do that in the earlier. 1 second. Okay, sorry, quick correction. So I did forget to do at the end of her turn to do the check, which I could just apply that skull token. But this effect here, where I got the into the archives, I did that during the enemy phase. So I do not actually need to do anything with this all-seeing eye I just drew. So I actually did not draw that cultist token. My apologies. All right, upkeep. Upkeep. Self-centered. That's fine. Mythos. 6 Doom. High radiation levels. Also, I should have used Dark Insight earlier, but that's okay. I don't have radiation tablets, so it's just going to be combat or agility. I'll do a combat check, and I will commit a defiance, and I will pick cultist. I fail. Every ally, asset, and investigator will take horror or damage. Sorry. So damage to the beat cop will kill it, and I will go ahead and deny existence the other damage. Gain a resource, draw a card, and resolve that. All right, over here. Willpower 3. For each point you fail by, either discard and non-story asset you control or take one horror. Granny Orn, why are you in space? 3 to 3. I fail by 2. I'll just take 2. I'll take 2 horror. So 1 here, 1 there. All right, investigation phase. All right. So I think there's only one place I even care to look at. So let's start with Jenny. As a lightning bolt, we'll do Green Man. First, I get a resource for Lone Wolf. Then I'll spend 3 for Green Man Medallion. And then I'm going to, as an action, scan. Okay. Put this Revelation. Put this into play. Ventilation shaft. When you would enter a ventilation shaft, test agility 3. If you fail, cancel the effects of the move. Endless maze of cramped and dirty tunnels. 2 shroud, 2 clues. And there is definitely a thing you can find in here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. When I move in, I have to do the check. I'm right now 3 to 3. I'm going to spend 4 resources to go 7 to 3. I pass, and then I'm going to investigate this location 5 to 2. I succeed. I get 1 clue and 1 resource. All right, cutting it close here. Diana. I'm going to spend 1 resource to get out a wolf mask. And then I'm going to move over and engage you. And then I'll do the test here. 3 to 3. I passed 1 of them. All right. Enemy phase, I'm going to get hit for 1 and 1. I'll use the virtual access key to soak 1 horror. Actually, I will spend 1 and just do a dodge. Gain resource back, draw a card. Cool. All right. And then upkeep. Upkeep. Mythos. 7th Doom. Let's do this. Radiation levels again. I'm currently 4 to 3. 4 to 3. I pass. Over here. Haunting Past. My memories is currently at 3. So 3 to 3 check. If you fail, search that. Yeah, we've done this before. All right. So 3 to 3. Not much else I can do about it. Good luck. Was it topmost hidden card and the search the encounter and draw it? Okay. It just says search for it. There is actually none, so I don't actually get one, surprisingly. All right. Let's go ahead and get going. All right, Jenny. Lone Wolf triggers, and I'll go ahead and do the Green Man Medallion. We might not be able to get these last 3, but that's okay. I'll investigate 5 to whatever. I succeed. I get 1 clue. Then I'm going to scan for whatever this is. Heir to Carcosa, Untranslated Runes. Add it to your deck. When earning experience during the resolution of the scenario, the investigator with the least mental trauma, choose one if there are more than one, earns 1 additional experience point for each of their mental trauma. I don't have any mental trauma, but I do have it. It's a permanent, it just gets set aside. Cool. And then last action, we're going to go ahead and... give me 1 second. Okay, I was just seeing how much I passed by. Last action, I'm going to go ahead and move to the mess hall. All right. Diana, you just have 1 job to do. I'm going to go ahead and attempt to evade. We'll use the wolf mask to go 5 to 2. We've passed. I will go ahead and discard this and have it attack me instead. I'll use virtual access key to soak the horror, and then I will take the damage. I will evade again using wolf mask. I succeed. You're now evaded. And then we're going to move to here. And then I do a 3 to 3 check, which is fine. All right, enemy, I don't need to worry about him. Upkeep. Upkeep. Mythos. 8th Doom. System bug. Nearest location with no clues, which will be here. Okay. And then here we get Haunting Past again, 3 to 3. I actually passed it. Doesn't matter, there's no deck for me to search. So, investigation. Oh, I did get engaged, so I do get an offering. We'll start with Jenny. I don't get Lone Wolf for this, but I am going to go ahead and Lightning Bolt. Get these resources onto this thing. Okay, and then... I'll go ahead and engage the system bug and then evade it. I'll spend 2 resources, so it'll be 5 to 2. That is just enough, because there's only 3 AI out. And then I will move down to here. Diana will move down to here. She will spend 4 clues. To scan, and there's nothing left to scan. There are only the hearts, which is just medical supplies, and we advance through the gates of the virtual dreamlands. By connecting to the ship's mainframe, you adapt the cryo chambers to import your soon-to-be dreaming self into K2PS187's shared dream. You lay down into your coffin once more and activate the machine's sleep sequence. Resolution 1. All right. Yeah, like I said, this is a really fun scenario, but there is a lot of moving pieces with all the scanning and the AI stuff and the various hidden cards. I'm glad we got rid of all the hidden cards besides holograms, which is fine. So yeah, we do Resolution 1. And yeah, as you can see, we have 10 victory in the display right now, which is crazy. So Resolution 1, you find yourself standing in a field of grass. You are no longer on the Tatterdemalion. But you don't recognize this place either. The sky is black and seething, the sun unable to penetrate the dark rolling storm clouds. Metallic cylinders with red pulsating lights stand tall in the distance, looming above a small town. The system's pocket dream reality is nothing like nothing you have ever experienced. The colors, textures, sounds, and scents are strangely realistic. Behind you, a large obsidian door, a virtual gateway to represent your arrival. You are surprised to see a little girl walking towards you. You got here just in time. Please follow me quickly before the monster eats my friends. You enter the virtual dreamland by your own means. Good times. Did I miss anything I needed to log? I don't think I did. Nope. Yeah, good to go. All right, so enter the virtual dreamlands by your own means. If an investigator was defeated, resigned, or ended their game with cybervirus in their hand, that investigator must record in the campaign log that your investigator name has been infected by cybervirus. Thankfully, we are not infected. We killed it. If at least one copy of Reminiscence Treasury is in the victory display, add a tablet token to the chaos bag for the remainder of the campaign. We would dodge that bullet, and then we get Victory X. So there's 10 for Diana, and then 13 for Jenny, because she has Karen's Obel and the Great Work. Also, Jenny has 6, 12, 18 resources on this thing, so every 6 of this will reduce the cost by 1. So the first thing I purchase that costs 3 or less, essentially. Well, actually, anything I purchase will cost 3 less, essentially. So with that, let me be right back. Okay, 10 experience for Diana. We do have Down the Rabbit Hole, so our first 2 upgrades will cost 1 less for each of them. So I'll upgrade 2 backpacks, so this will each cost 2 experience, but it'll cost 1 because of Down the Rabbit Hole, so that's 2 XP in total. And then upgrade Beat Cops and upgrade Survival Knives, and that is a total of 10 experience exactly. So we now have a better way of going through our deck. Beat Cops will now be able to pump out a lot more damage and soak hits a bit better for us, and then Survival Knives will also let us fight without having to worry about taking damage or horror, or taking damage, purposely taking damage. So pretty good stuff. No complaints there. She, of course, also has the, what do you call it, that key in our possession right now. And then 13 experience for Jenny, and I have 18 offerings on the Green Man Medallion, or whatever it's called. So I'm going to go ahead and replace Leather Jacket with the Red Clock level 2, which will cost, it's exceptional, so it'll cost 4, and then plus 1 because of Down the Rabbit Hole, so that's 5 experience. And then the Medallion will reduce it by 3, so it costs 2. So that's 2 for this. I'm going to go ahead and replace Streetwise with the level 3 version, which is the permanent version, and it's a lot more efficient. It is an upgrade, so it costs 1 less, so that'll cost me 2 as well, so I'm at 4. I'm going to go ahead and grab Gias to fill in that empty deck slot. This is exceptional as well, so it's level 2, so it's 4 XP, 5 because it's a new card, and got that going. So it's 2, 3, 4, 9, and then I'm going to go ahead and grab Relic Hunter, which will also cost 1 extra, so that's 13. So I've already spent all my experience. And then I'm going to go ahead and upgrade one of my lockpicks to level 1, which will cost 0 because of Down the Rabbit Hole, because I hadn't used the second upgrade thing yet. So there you go. So that should keep me at, so Streetwise is permanent, so it's just going to hang out. This will go here. This will go here. We'll put one of you here, and then set you aside. We do have the Heir to Carcosa, which we'll hold on to, and then we have the lockpick here. And that's 33 cards, so we're still good to go. And exactly 13 XP spent. So the Relic Hunter is so I can actually use both the Red Clock and the other thing as much as we can. The Heir to Carcosa would be helpful if any of us had mental trauma, but we do not have any mental trauma, so not much we can do about that. But yeah, that went pretty well. Got a little tense towards the end, I guess. Mainly just because I kept getting hit with all sorts of effects by Jenny, and I kind of had to use my cards that I was supposed to use for soaking to do other things. She also just accumulated a lot of money. We also got pretty lucky this time, where we just didn't draw her weakness, so I didn't have to worry about it. I mean, by the end, I had like, you know, at one point I was up to 30 like resources. It was kind of ridiculous. Definitely put this was probably the most I've ever used Intel Report for its full potential, which was really helpful. It definitely saved a lot of actions, which is a good thing. So far so good. Let's see if this will pan out for the next scenario, which will probably look very familiar to other people. In any case, I'm going to go ahead and call it here because I think it just goes straight to the next scenario. It does. All right, so yeah, I am the Depressed Viewer. This was Arkham Horror the card game, doing Dark Matter custom campaign with Diana Stanley and Jenny Barnes. I'll see you guys next time.